My message this morning is titled, What Are You Bringing? And last week was Potluck Sunday, and I'm sure if you came, you probably brought something. And if you didn't, I know you know there was tons of food, probably enough for everybody, because we always have plenty. I wasn't here, so I can't tell you that, but I'm sure we did, huh?
We did.
Yeah. So, but however, we're not really talking about food today, even though I've mentioned the potluck and everything. We're going to be talking about spirit and what that means to us. You see, there is always plenty in the realm of spirit. Just like our potlucks, no one gets more than they need or want in either example. Now, I know that sometimes when we're back at the potluck, we think, oh, I can just have one more bite or two, or maybe a second plate, and then what? We're miserable afterwards because we ate too much, right? Yeah, and we can do that with our spirit too. We can actually overfeed our spirit, because if we aren't synthesizing what we're learning and growing from what we're learning and putting it forth into our lives, then it's like overeating. We just pile up all this stuff, and it's not really coming through us to be practicing it in our everyday living. So we have to think about that. You know, sometimes people will think, oh, I just need to get like 3 more books and read them, or watch about 10 more reels, and I'm going to be spiritually arisen to the highness of God, and I will be so on fire. But it doesn't really work that way if all we're doing is just keep reading and keep hearing and keep listening. If we're not taking it in and through us and experiencing this in everyday living and appreciate what we're learning and growing and appreciate what we experience, then guess what? We're going to be stagnant and stale. We're just going to be staying in the same spot and still being miserable like we are when we eat too much. It'll feel uncomfortable, and nobody wants to be in that. So we're going to go and look at spirit, and this is a definition from Charles Fillmore's Revealing Word, the Revealing Word. Oh, okay, well, first I'm going to give you a Bible quote. This is from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans of good and not for despair. They are to give you a future and a hope. And that's what we have to think about. We have to think about the idea that no matter what we want to think in our small minds, God has a plan for us to be able to see and learn from what we take in, what we are learning, what we are hearing, and also to keep us balanced. And that even works on the physical realm too. It does help when it comes to eating. If we stop and say a prayer and say, okay, God, what's your plan for me? Then maybe we don't overeat, or maybe we don't just go to the sugar and consume mass quantities. But all of that we have to just think about synthesizing. And we have to be in the right state of mind to grow. Because if we're sitting here taking it all in, or we're watching reel after reel about spirituality, and then going out and getting in the car and go somewhere and just complain about everybody driving, or complain about people at the store, or complaining that the shopping cart isn't rolling right, whatever the case may be, we're negating anything that we have absorbed. We are just throwing it out the window. And we must be willing to make a difference in our own life, which could mean making changes in how we show up, how we act, and who we think we are. That's where it gets difficult. A lot of people don't want to change how they think or how they act or how they show up. A lot of people just, go, oh yeah, I'm perfect just the way I am. I don't have to change. You need to change. Sorry, I pointed to you. But anyway, so let's talk about spirit from the Revealing Word. Fillmore says, spirit is God as the moving force in the universe. The moving force in the universe. Now, we can agree with this, I think, because we know that God moves in and through us and all around us as energy. And that's what the Spirit of God is. It is that energy that we have. And so more of the definition says, we sometimes discover within ourselves a flow of thought that has been evolved independently of the reasoning process, and we are puzzled about its origin and its safety as a guide. This is when we get those little messages, or we have these gut feelings. We have them, and yet we question them. You know, you're you're driving and this message is saying, go this other way, and you say, oh, I don't want to go that way, but you get that gut feeling. Or just even, you're in a conversation with somebody. I've had this happen, and I start to say something, and then I think, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go down that path of jumping on their negativity and start babbling more negativity. No, I want to take a breath and go, no, we are all children of God, and I don't want to get in that, the drama or the, muck, okay? So we have to, we sometimes think that we have to be in charge of those messages we are getting, and we don't. All we have to do is be open to Spirit moving in us, and if we're getting a gut feeling or we're getting an intuitive thought, we need to take a pause and listen to that. We need to say, what does this mean to me? And here's a little more of the definition. In its beginnings, this seemingly strange source of knowledge is turned aside as a daydream. We've all done that. Sit there. One of my favorite things, which I haven't done forever, is to swing. And when you swing, you start thinking like just daydreaming thoughts, all these different thoughts. But if all we're doing is sitting there swinging, having those thoughts, then and not do anything with them, then we're wasting time. But if we have a thought about something, or we think about something, that's a nudge to go forward. Spirit's saying, hey you, I want you to do this. Hey you, pay attention. Hey you, there's some good here. Absorb it. Let it feel, because that's what God's plans are. It's for the good, right? Yeah. Again, it seems a distant voice, and an echo of something that we have heard and forgotten. We do that, don't we? We sit there and think, oh, that's not for me. And why did that message show up? Or where did that come from? I don't even know. And we discount it, don't we? We blow it off like, oh, that's not mine to do. That's not mine to hear. We think it's somebody else's. And we doubt the very existence of the idea of Spirit that is already moving in and through us. We're doubting the existence. And if Spirit is that moving force of God, then aren't we doubting God in that moment? And if we're prayed up and everything is in alignment, then guess what? When we get those messages, we are going to know that we want to listen to them and act on them. And maybe the first message is here, and it veers over to here, and that's okay. Because what we're doing is following the guidance of Spirit in that moment, which is the energy of God moving forward. So, this is the last of the definition. One should give attention to this unusual and usually faint whispering of Spirit in man or woman. It is the development in man of a greater capacity to know himself and to understand the purpose of creation. So when we pay attention and when we follow the guidance and when we listen to the guidance, then we are following what we are here to do on earth, and we will learn a lot. We'll learn a lot about ourselves because we'll know what we want to do and not do. If you're in a mode right now where you're trying to make a decision about something, like, whatever it is, buy a new car or should I move or any of these things that seem major, let them go and turn back into the energy of Spirit and say, okay, Spirit, I know you're moving in and through me. I know you're making me function, and please guide me to make the right decision. And the answer might come right then and there, boom. Or it might show up like little trinkles along the way. But whatever you decide, if you go to Spirit first, guess what? You're going to have the highest outcome and be on the path of spiritual growth in that moment. And, when we're on that path of spiritual growth, then we have to know that we have to bring a few things with us. And so we have to be willing to bring, we must be willing to agree to bring ourselves. Doesn't that make sense? Huh? But this means being physically present. Because if we're not here, we are not absorbing all the energy we need to activate Spirit. So we could be here, but not be here. Everybody know what I mean? You start thinking about the grocery list, or you start thinking about what you're going to make for lunch, or have for lunch, or where you want to go tomorrow, or what all you have to do this week. I mean, when I was doing church and not doing church up here, I did bring my journal with me because I would write notes that the minister said, but I would also, if my mind went to something like that, I wrote whatever it was, and then it's like I set it on the shelf and it wasn't bugging me anymore. So, there are things you can do to keep yourself on track of the spiritual growth aspect and not let yourself go down the path of being distracted. And because really, if you want Spirit to move in and through you, then you have to pay attention to Spirit, and you have to be in the place of that deal. We also must be willing to agree to bring an open mind. Yes, we can show up, and if we have a closed mind to new thoughts, we waste our time. So I know that we have first-time people come, and sometimes they never come back. And maybe in that particular moment, their mind was not open to hearing something different, or their mind was not open to experiencing something new, or their mind was just closed off from all the burdens and baloney that they've been told all their life that was heavy on them, and they weren't ready to release it. But once we release anything that stands in the way of our spiritual growth, guess what? We can absorb it, and we can have a whole new understanding. And one of the 12 powers is understanding. And I always think about, Fillmore always says it's your feet. Think about your feet. If your feet hurt, then you're not understanding something. And if your feet hurt, you need to pray and release whatever it is that's standing in the way of you understanding. And once you do that, then guess what? You can move forward with ease and grace, and your feet will no longer hurt. Trust me. We also have to bring an open heart. Everybody knows this, but do we always do it? Opening our heart is important because that is where we house the soul. Open your heart. Without the open soul, we have no open heart, and as much as Spirit tries to touch us, we will block the flow of the moving force we call God. So if we stay closed off, and we're in a negative state of mind, and we're thinking we know it all, we don't have to learn anything new, and no matter what anybody says or does, I don't need that information, then we have closed off our heart. And maybe the heart has been injured over time. Maybe the heart has been hurt. And that alone can block some of the good that wants to come through. Because if God is all good, then that Spirit of God that moves in and through us is wanting to bring more of that good, and we are still living in the world of hurt. It's hard to experience that good. And who doesn't want good? Everybody keep your hands down. I mean, we want to experience good, don't we? So let's put our hands up and say, yes, I want to experience good. So, you also have to, number 4, you also have to bring something of yourself to share or give or serve. Now, this is another thing. A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people want to think that whatever they have is all they have, nothing else. I can't give anything away. I can't share anything. But you can. A smile is sharing something. Think about that when you go to the store next time. Whatever store it is, just share your smile with everybody. It blows everybody's minds, I'll tell you that much. And some people will kind of look away real quick so they don't have to smile at you. But other people will be slowly smiling, trying to figure out if they know you or not. But it's fun because you're sharing something good. But we can take, meaning we can take all day long. But if we are not giving of ourselves, we miss the mark. And it's about giving of yourself. It's not about money. It's not about things. It's about giving of yourself. That smile is giving of yourself. That hello is giving of yourself. We are not rising to our highest potential if we aren't bringing something of ourselves. Besides, what we bring might be the very thing someone needs, and that is the truth. And it could be something as simple as just standing there listening. Just standing there listening. That could be what somebody needs today. And you are the one to share that with somebody. It could be the thing that you're going to bring, share, or whatever is to behold the Christ in another. And if you behold the Christ in another, you are sharing Spirit all the way through and through. Do you understand that? Because if you behold the Christ in somebody, even when you think that they don't deserve it, or they aren't acting appropriately, or whatever excuse you want to put on there, if you observe and say, I behold the Christ in you, you are lifting yourself and them up to a higher place in the energy of God. And that's important. We can't be judgmental. We can't be in that place. But, we also have to realize that when we bring ourselves, we're not making it about the party of one. We're not making it all about me. We're not being selfish or stingy. We're not thinking that we're the only ones that's important. Nobody else is important. No, we are making it to where we see the universe and the oneness of God in all people and all things. And that's a big switch, because that makes us be in that state of being. And that's what Spirit wants for us. They want us to be in that state of being where we're not rocked by all the human stuff that happens, that we can stand firm in knowing that the Spirit of God is with us. And it changes everything. It really will. And it brings us closer to God. From the revealing word, the law of growth and being. And this is important for us to understand, because if we want to grow spiritually and we want to be open to the Spirit of God, we need to think about the law of growth and being. Being exists under two phases, invisible and visible. Got that? We all understand that? Abstract and concrete. The visible comes forth from the invisible, meaning from the inside out. And this coming forth is always according to a universal method of growth from minute generative centers. Sorry, I cut some of that off. It's generative centers. So all these little pings of energy we have within us can send forth this light and love of God, can send forth that energy of Spirit. And when we send those forth, then we activate other people's. Freya's back there doing some beautiful artwork. And that artwork, if she keeps it to herself, it's all fine. But also, just glancing at it, you will experience that Spirit of God within her, because I truly believe artists tap into that Spirit of God and can bring it forth on paper. They might not be able to bring it forth physically or in their words, but if they're bringing that forth, then that's something of giving of yourself. So it shows up in all different ways. V, painting the Spider-Man back there for YouTube, or the wings out here on the side of the building. Those are the Spirit of God moving through, and you experience those, then it shows up, and as you're sharing it, and you're bringing of yourself, and it does help you grow and be more of that child of God that you are meant to be. So the energy happens from the inside out. From center to circumference is the plan of procedure throughout the universe. To study form alone and to expect to learn from it and its evolutions, the secret of existence, does not enable one to catch sight of Spirit moving upon every generating center. So we go back to learning and studying and talking about books or watching reels. We can watch that stuff or read that stuff, but if we are not going to within the Spirit of God, that's why it's important to understand what the Spirit of God in you can do and what it is. Because if we tap into that, all that energy goes out to those centers that we have within us that can help spark more energy and more of the Spirit of God out into the world. And that's what we're here to do. Part of the idea of us being on this earth is to go out and share the Spirit of God, isn't it? I hope you say yes. I didn't really hear you, but yes. There you go. Now I heard you. I like that. But we have to know that this also is important, because like some people, you can sit there and you know certain people, and you know that they know this stuff about their spiritual growth, or they know how to be a better child of God, and yet they continue to do the same things that they always did before. We've all experienced that. It shows up again and again, and you're like, why aren't you getting this? But if they're not activating it from the inside out, all they're doing is taking it on the outside and trying to push it in. It doesn't work that way. Spirit is on the inside, working its way out, and that's the way we have to activate it. That's where we have to be. It's like that in parenting too, because you can tell a kid not to do something over and over again, and they keep doing it. And you're thinking, why are you doing that? Because, come on, I've told you how to do this. I know you know how to do it. But think about what God probably is saying. I've told you all how to do this, and yet you still keep trying to do it the other way. And can we click the switch here? Can you imagine I could get if God really would get there, because God doesn't go there, but it's true. And I think it's because we haven't activated that awareness connection. We haven't really activated that place within us that is the Spirit of God, believe it or not. We still think the Spirit is out here, not with Him. God, as our parent, feels the same way too. God gives it all to us, but we must turn on the awareness connection. And how do we turn on that awareness connection? We activate spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening is defined as becoming conscious of the things of Spirit of God. That's what we've been talking about, becoming conscious of the things of Spirit of God. Now, what does that mean? Well, everything good is the things of Spirit of God, aren't they? Everything good. So we have to start being conscious of all the good. Everything good. I am conscious of all of you sitting here. I know all of you are good. I know this building is good. And it brings me joy. It brings me love. And you guys do too. And that's what we have to be. We have to be aware, conscious of everything. We walk outside and see the grass or see the trees, whatever. We see the children come in. We've got to be in that state of mind where we are seeing the good, where we are experiencing that good. And that means everything from the beauty of nature to the innocence of children, the affection of animals. I made me a little list here. The gracefulness of the butterfly. Isn't that cool? To enjoying an ice cream, conversations with family and friends, sharing a talent, or creating something from your heart. All of these are important. All the little things that we take for granted. All the little things that we pass by. Becoming conscious is more than observation. It's becoming aware of the energy that is involved in everyday living. It is being silent for a moment and listening. We have this bird at home that wakes me up every morning now. And I know this bird has just come back from wherever it's been, and it's probably finding a mate or laying eggs or whatever it does. But it's like probably 5 or 5:30 in the morning it starts singing. And the first couple times it did it, I was like, please stop. Please stop. And then I was like, I can't stand this early in the morning. And then I said, okay, that's not working. I'm going to bless this bird, and I'm going to believe that it's singing straight to my soul. And you know what? It is. It's like a beautiful song. And you know how some of these birds repeat the same, you know, it's like very repetitive. Well, that's what this one was doing. But now I hear it in a whole different way. And part of it was because writing this message, I said, well, you can't complain about that bird. You know you can't. You have to embrace the energy. And that is so true. We have to just take that awareness connection and say, hey, this is good. But I said this years ago, that silent and listen have the same letters in them. And if we think about that idea, that silent and listen have the same letters, it's easier for us to stop. Stop and be silent for a moment and just listen. Listen to what is there for us to listen to. You know, whatever it is. And sometimes you just, when you do that, I mean, you just feel the energy of God. It's more than just, you know, than just affirming it or knowing it. You'll actually feel it. And you're activating something within you that is powerful. And that's where we want to be, isn't it? Yes, we do. Because we will feel that difference. And we will also hear our messages more clearly. And the best part is we will know when to listen to them. That's the guidance we need. Stop and be silent for a minute and listen. And it takes us in this whole new journey. And we will no longer be confused about messages that we think are messages when it's really our own little mind that's saying them. Everything will become clear. And clarity is comforting, believe it or not. Don't you think so? Yes. When you're turning over making a decision and you finally make a decision and you have clarity about it, it's comforting. It's like, oh, yes. And that's where we want to be. We want to be in that place. We will no longer be confused because we will know what we are bringing. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. Thank you. Well, I got a different song for you today. It's Jelly Roll. I don't know how many people like them or don't like them, but I thought this song was really good. The Spirit Won't Let Me Fall.
When the road is long and my strength is gone, when the night